Check this out. How would you like to create that cool special effect glitch as a branding asset for your video marketing or perhaps for another purpose? And what's even more exciting is that this creation was made entirely inside Camtasia. No After Effects, no plugins, and no extra purchases required. Just a little secret sauce with Camtasia, animations, behaviors, transitions, and a little sound to boot. Let's dive in. Hey, it's Gord here. Welcome. If it's your first time here and it's your passion to make great videos, become a ninja at video editing, and learn more tips on how to succeed with video and marketing on YouTube, then make sure you smash that subscribe button and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. Okay, before we jump in to look at the details of how this came together, I'm just going to give you a quick overall philosophy on how I put the design for this together. As you can see, there's two lines of text there and then ultimately a product box. Those were the core elements, and what I wanted to do was have some kind of special effect, glitch effect. And you can see I have the bars that appear in the text there. I have wobbling text. And then I also have converging activity going on and a lot of behaviors and special effects. So you can see there's a lot of custom animations throughout here. There's transitions and there's behaviors as well and clip speed. So let's go now dive in and take a closer look and see how all of this comes together. In step one of the process, I put just the text boxes on screen, the annotation text boxes. And as you can see, we have two of those and a product box. And again, in total, we're just somewhere in the area of 4 seconds. So there's not much to this step. It's just getting the items on the canvas. In this next step, I added the behaviors. And as you can see here, we have the pulsating and pop-up behaviors. And it's the same for both text boxes I used. And then in the product box, I have pulsating and pop-up. But first, let's play and see how this looks. As you can see, there was a lot of jiggling and shaking and pulsating in a fast motion, and see how the text goes, and it's working with it as an overall like object. It almost looks like a wave going across, and then the product box coming up, wavering, and then dropping down. And one of the things I want to note is that when I test the behaviors and want to see how they look, and in this case the pulsating and pop-up are stacked on top of each other for an effect, I oftentimes just use the timeline stretched out a little longer so that I can just see a little more of the effect of the behavior and see how it looks. So as you can see here, you can see the middle, the duration hanging in for a little longer, but I'd already tightened it up because I didn't want it to last that long. So I'm just showing you there. That's one way I test to see the impact of what I've applied. Now let's go look at the details. So if we look at the pulsating, so for the pulsating part you can see that on the right side we have no reset arrows, so that means I just use the default setup, which is a grow, and it comes in with the text left to right. Now let's look at the pop-up. Now when we look at the pop-up, if you look here on the you can see we have the reset arrows, which means all of these parameters were changed from the default. And we're using the style is sliding. So if I click the reset here, the default was hinge. So if I play here, you'll see how the hinge, so you see how it came in almost like a hinge. But that's not what I ended up using. So you can play with the different options here. And what I had used was, as you can tell, the sliding. Next, the type, it's object here now, which I'm using. Before it was text left to right. And if you look on the screen had this kind of like sliding, dropping effect of the text. But what I actually used was using this as an object, so that now that you see when in that falling thing, it just looks like a wave going across. So this is just giving you a feel and an idea for how you can tune things. So you need to tinker with these parameters to come up with what visually you're trying to achieve. Now if we go to the during, you can see here that the text is very jiggly, which is what I wanted to have in order to have it look like a glitch, and that's achieved by playing here with the loop time parameter. It's at 0.15, and if I click the reset, it goes to 1. So that gives you that I really sped this up quite quickly. So we're going to set that back to our 0.1. Otherwise, when we get here into the video product box. If you open that up, we had pulsating, and as you can see in the in, the during, I changed the delay to be 0.37 instead of the default, which was 0. And I can switch that. That's just so that the movement was slower in terms of the delay, which was the desired effect that I wanted. Now we're going to add the custom animations, and the custom animations are what added the bounce around. So if we look here, we see the text move into different locations, converge, the box pop up and down. So that's all done through the animations, and animations are managed by where you physically put things on the beginning and the end keyframes, like I'm showing here, where I click and move from the beginning to the end of the custom animation arrows. And custom animations are added through here under animations, and you just drag a custom animation on to the timeline. Now, bear in mind, the other important thing is that when you're doing custom animations, we've already added behaviors that have a certain characteristic. So we're layering on top the effect of the custom animation. So I'm going to go frame by frame here to just show you sort of how exactly the custom animation in this case comes into play. So if you're looking at Owen video here, we're just now about at the start arrow point of this animation. And when I click on it, see how Owen moves slightly to the left, the text moves to the left, and that's all that was. And then the animation above, the movement on the words Video Marketing Toolkit jumped it down. So as you can see, this gave, because these are nice short animations in time span, the sort of a nice jolt movement, which is something that we want to have as an effect when we're dealing with a sound glitch. And then as we move along in this space where there is no animations, the other stuff that's going on has also to do with the behaviors combined with the next step of the animations. And if you come to the beginning here, you can see that these locations are starting here. And then in this time cycle, it's going through and converging. You see the two lines of text converge because the endpoints or the end keyframes I made as an actual convergence of like a flat line with both of them on top of each other. So in essence, if you can see more closely here, if we zoom in, I'm going to just zoom in for a second here, and I click on the endpoint for one of these. You see there's this box here, and I just converged it down to a flat line, and I did that with both of them and layered them on top. So I'm going to undo so this goes back. And if I go down to the other one, you can see it's the exact same thing. Whoops. If you see there's a line there, so it's the same result. And the box was converged down to a line. And that's how you got that nice effect of things converging together. So let's just put everything back. Let's just allow that to execute. Well, we were zoomed in a little too far. There you go. And now when we're in the box, as you can see, the box was coming up and rising. And then when we got to the begin frame, we saw a big jump. So if you can see how that played out again, I'm just going to go back. You see how it jumped? So it came boom right into the foreground looking at you close. And then again, the behaviors going on in the background, and then the next begin keyframe physical location is right there, and then the end keyframe for the next piece is even closer. So we get this sort of jolted and jumping effect. And that's how we set up the custom animations. In the next step, we added the sound effects, and what I want to share with you is, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sound effects that have been added overall. And the first sound effect is tied to the entrance of the text, and then the second one coincides with a big jolt or jump in the text, and then the third one relates to making a sound as the texts converge. And we're going to see how that plays out, so let me just play the first part so you can see the timing of all of that. So you can see that all nicely coincided with the movements in the animations. And in the last part, we also have a sound effect. This one's a little longer, but you can see there's a little glitchy, more pronounced glitch piece in the middle because it's a little longer, and that coincides again with a jump in the way the product box comes out at us. And then we have our last major sound effect tied to the outage when we exit the product display down here, and that sound just makes it nice as a way to finish it. So here we go. Let's see how that sounds. The last piece is the secret sauce, my favorite secret sauce part anyways, which is the transitions. As you can see, these green bars are all the transitions. And I used for the effect right here, this transition called random bars. And as you can see by the random bars going up and down, that this could be a cool effect for a glitch. And I've applied that on, on all the clips. And what's interesting is I've used it in a pronounced, pretty significant way. Like this particular one here, this random bar is quite long from the end. And in the middle, it's only in the middle here that I have a little open piece where everything is clear. But then we get into the bars and you see it all going all over, the bars all over the text. And likewise in here, the bars are all over the box. And then you have the clarity to see the print clear, and then the bars again. If you notice, I've tried to tie all the most of the glitch effect, when I say that, the random bars, to the points where there's sound, and it just has a really nice effect. And let's just see how that plays out. Watch the bars, focus on the bars, and focus on where you see it being clear without the bar effects to get the overall impact. Wow, creating special effects in Camtasia is great fun, and you can produce some great assets for your video marketing with a little experimentation. If you want to look more closely at the sound glitch example I created here and use it as a template for getting started, then go ahead and download my free project file now. All you have to do is click on the link provided in the YouTube card above or in the video description below. If you're into video editing and creating videos and you want to learn more tips on how to succeed with video and video marketing, then be sure to hit the subscribe icon on this page. I'll see you in another video soon.